One of my very favorite props for selling final expense insurance is the guarantees of whole life insurance. And when you use this tool properly, your closing rate will absolutely increase. Today, I'm going to show you the correct way and how I use this and how some of the highest producing insurance agents in the country are using this tool to make their lives a lot easier when it comes time for them to close their sales. And guys, if you'd like a copy of this to print out and laminate for yourself so that you can use it, during your final expense sales presentation, hang around until the end of the video. I'll be glad to show you how to get this for yourself so that you, like I said, can use it too. The best time to pull out your laminated guarantees of whole life insurance is after you've done the field underwriting and you've picked the carrier, the insurance company, the product that you're actually going to price out and sell the client. You want to share this part of your presentation right before you write out the death benefit options and you go for the close. As always, it is extremely important that while you're making your final expense sales presentation that you have a lot of energy, excitement, and enthusiasm, and that you're upbeat, just like when you're door knocking your leads and just like when you're calling to set appointments. And I'll generally say something like this: Mrs. Senior, what I do is a lot different than what the other insurance agents that you may have met with in the past do. This is completely different than the insurance commercials, the stuff you're seeing on TV with the bait and switch prices. And I know you're getting like the phone calls all the time, and you're getting a lot of stuff that's being mailed out to you pretty much every day, right? Well, you see, I don't work for one of those big, expensive insurance companies. Instead, I'm part of a group of senior advocates as an insurance broker. However, I specialize in working with low and fixed income seniors and, people who don't have very much money to live off of and who are usually on some type of government, Social Security benefits, disability benefits, or even veterans benefits. Reason being, I have access to all the big companies, and this is the important part, I also have access to a few insurance carriers who've designed their whole life insurance products specifically for people who are on limited income. Again, usually surviving off their Social Security check. And Mrs. Client, those are the companies that I'm going to be looking at for you today. My first question, Mrs. Senior, are you receiving Social Security benefits? Guys, they're going to always say, yes, I am. You're setting them up. You already know that. And that's when I'll say something like, great, I should be able to do something really good for you and your family today. Now, let me explain the differences between what we are doing today compared to the other stuff that you're seeing. And this is when I pull out my laminated copy of the guarantees of whole life insurance. And before we continue, I'd like to invite you to give this video a thumbs up. Mrs. Senior, with whole life insurance, the price will never go up and the monthly premium is guaranteed to always stay the same. The death benefit or face amount will never go down. So if you get a $10,000 life insurance policy, no matter how long you live, your family will receive the $10,000 when you pass away, as long as you've made your monthly payment and haven't taken a loan against your insurance policy, which we'll talk about later. The insurance carrier will not change their mind later and cancel your policy, even if your health changes. Now, once you're approved, that's it. You're insured. The only reason they would cancel the insurance for you, ma'am, is if you stop paying for it. With whole life insurance, the policy builds what we call cash value or cash accumulation. And how this works is every time that you make your monthly insurance payment, money starts to build up and accumulate that you can actually access later on. It usually takes a couple of years, in all honesty, for this to start building up, so you don't want to mess with your policy in the beginning. But let's say years from now, you, Mrs. Senior, have an emergency and you need a few $100s or maybe even more. As long as the money is built up in the cash value, you can take out what we call a policy loan. And ma'am, I've had clients do this to fix their car or to use the cash value to put a deposit down for a new apartment, etc., stuff like that. And most important, the death benefit is guaranteed to the day you die, period. No matter how you die, It doesn't matter if it's from an accident or from some type of health issue. Now, just to be clear, the insurance will not pay in the event of a suicide in the first 2 years, so don't get any bad ideas. All life insurance policies do have a suicide clause. And then I love to show them this part, and I'll read it out loud. Very important, Mrs. Senior, this is not like that term life insurance that you're seeing on TV, where the price goes up and or the insurance policy expires, when you hit a certain age, and then the family gets nothing back, you get nothing back, and you've possibly just wasted your money. Again, this insurance is guaranteed to the day you die, period. That's why we call it guaranteed whole life insurance. Guys, notice how I said that the insurance company won't change their mind later once the client has been approved. Unfortunately, Americo has a history of rescinding policies after they've been enforced, between that first year and before the end of the second year. FYI, guys, if you didn't know, all life insurance companies have the right to go back and pull an MIB and script check anytime that they want to during the first 2 policy years. The first 2 years the client has the insurance policy. It's called the contestable period. Americo, however, is the only company that I know of that does this. That's why I won't touch them. At this point, we're going to share a little bonus training. You see, once we've presented how the whole life insurance works, what I do is I pull out my laminated I Am Your Policy that has the 8 reasons seniors purchase whole life insurance plans on the back. So they're laminated back to back. And I'll say something like, now, Mrs. Senior, while I'm finding the best company for your health and your financial situation, I need you to read this card front and back. It's very important. By doing this, they won't start wandering around the house. It's important to keep them seated during your presentation and keep their attention. And also, most important, I would say, keep them in that yes mode that we've been working up to. You don't want them getting distracted and losing focus and doing something else while you're figuring out the company you're going to sell and writing down the price options. And interesting enough, guys, something I've learned over the years is that when they read both sides, the I Am Your Policy and the 8 reasons seniors purchase the final expense plans, it tends to have a highly suggestive effect that makes it easier for the client to internalize the importance of having the insurance. Remember, these folks need to justify in their mind, in their heart, and in their soul that paying for something that they, may barely be able to afford is the right thing to do for their family. And these 2 documents do exactly that. I think they kind of have a hypnotic effect on some people too. Really quick, a couple of pro tips, and here's the gold. When you price out the death benefit and pricing options, never show the bottom or the cheapest death benefit option to cost below like $60, even if you are sure they can't afford that. And I know you're thinking, well, Doug, if they have a Direct Express card and they don't even have any food in the kitchen, why shouldn't I show them something for like $24? Well, here's why. If you show the bottom option of something really low, like $24 for instance, statistically speaking, they will most likely take that bottom option. And let me be clear, guys, I'm talking about people that can absolutely afford more than $24 a month. For whatever reason, it just seems to be like the way that especially retired seniors think, but most people do that too. Most fixed income seniors will always pick the cheapest option. Years and years of selling final expense insurance has also taught me that, well, a lot of our low income folks will naturally have, I want to say, the knee-jerk reaction to say, oh, I can't afford that, or don't you have something a little less expensive? And even though, here's the thing, even though they can actually afford that and a lot more. Again, it's just how, these folks in our market think, look, they need to stretch their money as far as possible. So that's just how they do things. Now, by giving them a bottom option of, let's say, $24, you've left yourself nowhere to go down to, to lower the price to, because you can't go any lower, right? A big part of being a sales professional, especially, of doing life insurance sales, is being prepared to do, well, what I call a price drop close. This is one of the first things that I learned when I got into sales. And you need to learn how to effectively do a price drop close too. The prospect says that they can't afford any of the options. You go back to the pricing app or the pricing pages, whatever you're using, and you write out one more option. And what I'll do, maybe I'll write it on the back of the pricing page that I've already written the 5 options down on. And I'll write it in like a big, bold print. And this is when you show, that much lower death benefit option and say something like, "Mrs. Senior, can I make a suggestion?" They'll always say, "Sure, why not? Go ahead." Then you'll say, "Let's just start with this option here." That way your daughter, Carol, who we've spoken about earlier, you said you didn't want to get her, leave her stuck having to pay anything out of pocket. And that way she has something. And later, if you think you can actually afford more, you just give me a call and I'll come back and we'll add to your insurance. Go ahead and grab your ID for me, please. For a copy of the Guarantees of Whole Life Insurance, just email me at doug@ufesonline.com. For more information on selling, well, final expense and or Medicare Advantage with us, working the senior market as a completely independent life insurance agent or a senior insurance agent, just email me at that same address. Remember, when you put the needs of your clients first, everything else will usually fall right into place. Now get out there, guys, and do something good for someone today. Happy hunting.